Hi guys!
Welcome to our first Cardiff Hero video.
And each month we're going to be celebrating somebody cool and somebody great in Cardiff that is doing great things for charity, helping others, and basically just out there doing good things.
And our first Cardiff Hero is... ta-da! James Evans!
Hi, I'm James Evans and I'm October's Cardiff Hero, and I'm going to share with you today my story about how I became a bone marrow donor. So I first got involved with the Welsh Blood Service through giving blood as a regular blood donor, and got offered the opportunity to sign up to be a bone marrow donor to go onto the register about 4 or 5 years ago, and that's all it took was an extra little vial of blood before I gave blood, and thought nothing of it really. And then fast forward, as I said, for 5 years, and I got in contact, or I got a letter last year around October time to say that I was a match for somebody, and then things progressed from there really. So once I got the letter, I went off to give a few extra blood samples to make sure if I was definitely the best match for the person. So the bone marrow registry will look to get about 5 or 6 people on board, and then look to see who's the best out of those 5 or 6 people for that person. So didn't think anything of it again. I was a little bit anxious and didn't know what was really going to happen next, and I got a phone call about a fortnight later to say that I was the best match for this person. So this person who I didn't know, and at which point I was pretty nervous because things were trying to get a little bit serious here, and not that I'd have ever thought of backing out, but it was a little bit nerve-wracking. So then we moved forward and went to sign up and meet up with the nurses up in Talbot Green, and they explained everything to me, the 2 different methods you can use. So apheresis, which is quite similar to when you give platelets, and then the method which I went, which is the kind of old school method where they take bone marrow from the back of your pelvis. So on the day when I went up to meet and discuss the various options, there was absolutely no pressure. They outlined exactly everything that was going to happen to me, and I was allowed to choose which method I'd prefer to give, which either be through apheresis, as I said, or the kind of old school method where they take it out of the back of your pelvis. But they actually did have a preference, which was to go the old school method and get the bone marrow out of the pelvis instead. So as I said, there was no pressure, and once I signed on the dotted line to say that I was going to go through with it, which was a pretty nerve-wracking experience, they gave me a little bit of information about the recipient, and you know, as I said, at which point I knew, even though I was nervous, it was going to be one of the best things probably that I'm ever going to do. And that was it. The next thing, we were scheduled to give in November, and we were about 3 or 4 days before the operation. Unfortunately, the recipient got sick, so we had to reschedule then for December. So we went through with that in December. So on the night of the operation, it was carried out in St Joseph's, which is a private hospital just outside Newport. Went in, had my own private room, didn't have to share with anybody, and I went out for a meal with my parents, the kind of last nervous meal before the operation, and then it was nil by mouth after 8 o'clock, and my parents left me, and I gotta be honest, I didn't really get much sleep that night. I was quite nervous, and the next morning we were scheduled for the operation to be about 8:30, and the nurse or the matron came to wake me up at 6:30, but I was already awake at 5:30 because I just couldn't sleep. It was a mixture of excitement and just real kind of nervousness. And that was kind of it really. I mean, I got visited by the consultant, went down, and that's all I remember is being knocked out, and I came round at about 10:15 in a room with my family around me, and that's pretty much all I remember from the actual morning. So from the nervousness, it was over before I even knew about it really. So I think with the whole bone marrow thing, a lot of people are put off with the idea that it's extremely painful, and you'll hear people, I mean, in the build up to me, every time I said that I was going to go through with this operation, everybody always told me the first thing they said was, I've heard that was really painful, and it wasn't really. I mean, it was slightly uncomfortable. It just felt like it's, you know, someone gave me a kick in my back for a couple of weeks really. I was a little bit anemic for about 2 weeks, but I said after about 5 or 7 weeks I was back running as if nothing had happened. And I think if someone's considering doing it, don't let someone else put you off who may have heard some stories. The needle isn't huge, it was over really, really quickly, and I would say it wasn't even painful, it was just uncomfortable. And I think for you guys, or if you're considering doing it, 2 weeks worth of just a little bit of pain or a little bit of uncomfortableness, then not even pain, I think in the grand scheme of things that's very little to a kind of reward that you can get to perhaps save someone's life or to give a family a chance to have their loved one with them. So I think really just think about it, because it's one of the best things I've ever done. And up until now I've just referred to him as a recipient, but I got to find out that my bone marrow went to a young lad. So regardless of whether it's just for him to have a life too, it's also the fact that that family could have lost out on, you know, potentially a lot of memories with someone they really loved and cared about. So I really think about it and don't be put off by it apparently being painful, because it really wasn't. It was one of the best things I've ever done. So guys, if you're considering to give bone marrow, please check out the links at the end of the video, and I would urge anybody to consider doing it. It is one of the most worthwhile things you can do in your life. As I said before, a little bit of pain and you can really make a difference to somebody's life. So have a good think about it. It's one of the best things I've ever done.